When it comes to the history of drag in the US, what if I told you there was a time almost a century ago when the art form was not only widespread, but largely accepted? For a few years in the early 1930s, there was a period called the Pansy Craze. Basically, it was kind of a golden era for drag performers, referred to as pansy performers, of all genders and sexual orientations. New York bars, for instance, hosted drag balls that saw upwards of 7,000 attendees, and these events would get written about in newspapers. Many of the participants were prominent members of society at the time. According to Associate Professor of American Studies and author Chad Heath, this mini-era was remarkable not just because the art of drag was so visible, but because popular culture and newspapers at the time remarked on their visibility. Everyone knew that they were visible. This era occurred during Prohibition, so a lot of the bars and clubs that hosted drag events were underground. However, some historians believe those circumstances helped bring different groups of people together. Members of the quote-unquote mainstream heteronormative American society and openly gay drag performers were mingling at a time when they might have not otherwise interacted. One of the most important and iconic drag performers of this time went by the name Jean Mallon. Mallon was openly gay, dressed in drag, and wasn't afraid to put hecklers in their place. In 1930, he was reportedly the highest paid nightclub performer in the country. He was even in a couple movies, one of which showed him in full drag. In fact, prior to the Motion Picture Production Code, a set of censorship guidelines, also known as the Hays Code, that banned certain topics such as LGBTQIA+ themes from being depicted in film, it was quite common to see drag on screen. The Hays Code took effect in 1934. This coincided with the tragic death of Mallon, who accidentally reversed his car off a pier in 1933. Around the same time, police began cracking down on establishments that held drag shows, putting an end to the pansy craze. Arguably, it would be decades before the drag community in the US saw that level of mainstream acceptance once again.